Tan Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Tan Guru Gobind. The first Baani composed by Maharaj was the Siddh Ghost. Reason being that these 4 pauris are in the JAPJI, which are actually part of a discourse with the Siddhs. So, what Maharaj is going to talk about today, the 28th pauri, is a relationship between spirituality and religion. An understanding of how relationship is established and what is the meaning of that. The symbols of religion, the identity, the sara, the structure of religion, and this inner spirituality. What is the relationship between this? We will read through the Baani and then try and understand what Maharaj is telling us. What Maharaj has spoken about in his experience when he came out of the river, the Baani river, Nako Hindu, Nako Musalman. The inner experience of spirituality breaks the walls of identity completely. And one of the identities which we all hold dear to ourselves is religion. So religion is an identity part of our ego. Nothing wrong with it. But if we use the identity of the ego and remain at that level, don't go beyond the conditioned mind into the spiritual mind, don't get aware of it, then according to Guru Nanak Sahib Maharaj, there is a problem. In the Asadi War, he tells us this, that Nanak Sache Naam Bin Kya Tikka Kya Tag. What is the relationship? What is the point of all these symbols if you don't have Naam in your life? And Naam is the spiritual, unconditioned mind we all have. Now, if we understand this more carefully, even at the time when Maharaj stops the Pandit in the time of Janeu, in younger years of his life, and he narrates the Janeu to a spiritual level. And then he says that if you have such a Janeu, such a taga, such a thread, which doesn't get destroyed with time, and which has a pure mind related to it, then you give me that thread. Without that, this thread has no meaning. Tagna Indri, Tagna Nari. If you don't have your senses in your control, if you don't have your desires focused to what is right, then what is the point of having these symbols? But unfortunately, most of us primarily are focused on the identity part of our religion only. We don't go into the unconditioned mind. We don't have that inner experience. And in that way, experience of religion becomes self-defeating in some ways. The relationship between our inner mind and spirituality doesn't come forth. And then we often enough compare and use these religious symbols as a way of building our ego. In fact, now this has become a tool of It's become a tool of the politics. So now it gets used as a political symbol, which is most unfortunate, because religion is to break the walls of spirituality, break the walls of division. Whereas if we use it for politics and dividing society, then it's counterproductive. If we go into the writings, the expressions of the spiritual seekers, the spiritually elevated gurus, you will not find walls in that communication. In the Guru Granth Sahib, there are no walls of religion. In the writings of Maulana Rumi, he does not talk about any religion. When we look at Lao Tzu in China, he doesn't talk about religion. All this expression is only spiritual, it's purely spiritual. At the time when Guru Sahib was walking these lands and talking about religion and spirituality, there were three primary ways of spiritual seeking. One was the Hindu, and the other was Muslim, and the third was the yogic tradition. The yogis were very well organized, and they were a very separated methodology towards themselves, to how to follow religion. And there are different panths, Gorakh Panth, Ai Panth, there are different panths which the yogis had. This and the next three pauris are related to a dialogue between Guru Sahib and the yogis. And in that dialogue, what is being said in the end is the same. So the four lines, the last line is the same. Ades tise ades, Ad anil anad anahat, jug jug eko ves. But these are interesting communications between Maharaj and the yogis. These four lines don't exist in the Siddh Gosht, but they exist here. And this tells us that the Siddh Gosht was composed and compiled before JAPJI. Siddh Gosht has 73 pauris to it. It has a Rahav, but JAPJI doesn't have a Rahav. JAPJI is a entirely conceptual Baani. It is more spiritual in context. It's a direct relationship to our spiritual mind. We will read through this 20th pauri and then step into the realm of Guru Nanak Sahib Maharaj when he is talking to the yogis. Ji.
Waheguru Ji, मुंदा संतोख सरम पत चोली, ध्यान की कर है बेपूत, हिंथा काल कुआरी काया, जुगत डंडा प्रतीत, आई पंथी सगल जमाती, मन जीते जग जीत, आदेश तिसै आदेश, आद अनील अनाद अनाहत, जुग जुग एको वेस। वाहेगुरु जी, मुंदा संतोख सरम पत चोली, ध्यान की कर है विभूत, खिंथा काल कुआरी काया, जुगत डंडा प्रतीत, आई पंथी सगल जमाती, मन जीते जग जीत, आदेश तिसै आदेश, आद अनील अनाद अनाहत, जुग जुग एको वेस। वाहेगुरु जी।
Dhanwad Maharaj. Thank you, Mandi. If we look at this body, it's actually breaking the barriers of religion. when Maharaj says, Ai Panthi Sagal Jamati. Ai Panth is a panth, is a yogic community. These yogis used to meet in Achal, Batala is their mandir in Hoshiarpur. So they meet there at the meeting of Shivrat, February, March, Shivratri, what we know today. And all of them descend. The dialogues with the Siddhs happened between them and Guru Nanak in three or four places. One was Nanak Mata in Uttarakhand, near Haldwani today. Sumer Parbat up in the mountains. Third was at this place in Achal, Batala. And the dialogue is very relevant because the seeking of these yogis is more intense. It's more relevant, the way the questions they've asked and how they probe the issues of the mind. I don't think there are any such dialogues anywhere else in the Guru Granth Sahib or in any other tradition. There is one which the Ashtravakar Gita it is called, between Janak and Ashtravakar. There is one very intense dialogue there. That is also beautiful to read. Now, here in this body, Guru Sahib is taking us from the physical relationship of religion into the man, into the mind. He says that the field where spirituality is lived and experienced and where we get to know it is our inner mind. Now there is a relationship between our mind and the physical life we lead. But often we confuse these planes. I can have a problem in the physical life and I look at it from a spiritual angle. I don't know how to drive well. I haven't learnt the art of driving. And my car gets hit every now and then. And I relate it to a spiritual level and I say, how do I manage this? Of course, there is a relationship between spirituality and what I'm doing. But my abilities and my targets in the physical life are also governed by my experience in the physical level. And I can cause problems from the physical level if I don't know the approach. My ignorance often enough causes a physical problem. I'm not aware of something. The physical level also has certain rules by which it lives. Now, the body, when it gets old, it's governed by genetics. It's governed by the environment where we live. So that will have its own repercussions. But we can always look at it from a spiritual angle. Absolutely, there is a relationship between the spirituality and the physical life we live. And the need is to get inspired from the spiritual and accept what we can change and not change in the physical. Because there is not everything which we can change. I'm reminded by a Greek prayer. He says that give me the energy to change what I can change, the wisdom to know what I can change and cannot change, and accept what I cannot change. Ultimately, life is only spiritual. The physical life which we live is a transient life. It is changing in its personality, it's changing in its form and shape. I studied reincarnations to some extent, and I found people can shift from one religion to another when they are reborn. So this religious identity we hold on to, unless it is deeper than the skin, unless it is more at a spiritual level, this reincarnation can change our religious outer structure because it is not very firm. So the Hindus can fight the Muslims and vice versa, but they may take rebirth in that religion. In that way, we have to understand this relationship of the man and religion. Now in this body, the Siddhs have asked Guru Sahib, what is his religion? And they tell him about their identity, the structure. The structure of the yogis. There is a mundra, a earring which they wear in their ear. It's symbolic, it has its reasons, it has its meanings. It is supposed to represent the fact that the person is now not listening to wrong things, as a constraint on listening to that which is not good for him or for spirituality. Then he has a jholi. The yogi has a jholi where he takes his alms, he begs, he asks for food or whatever. And then he takes vibhuti, ashes all over his body. He covers his body with ash. That is to save him from insects, disease, to make the skin thicker. And also to say that I have gone beyond death, that my body is covered with the ash from the cremation ground. So I am dead to the world. Again, symbolic. Kintha is a coat they carry, the cloth they carry, which they can use for their sitting, for their asana, and they can also use it as a bed sheet when they want to sleep, or a covering. And then the jugat, and then the danda they hold in their hand as a method to try and walk through the forest, difficult areas where there are animals. These are the symbols of yogic tradition. And they put these symbols to Guru Sahib. And they say, this is our religion. We follow this. Maharaj gives an answer to this. He explains to the yogis that religion in the physical, symbols in the physical, have a deeper meaning in the spirit, in the man. And so, these symbols which they are talking about represent the state of mind. Ades tise ades. Salutations, Maharaj says, to the one Creator, who joins us all, who's uniting us all. Ad Anil Anad Anahat Jug Jug Eko Ves, who has only one form, unchanging. So in that way he is truth. Ad is beyond time. There are 4 dimensions of time: present, future and past. And that dimension where there is no time. Ad is where there is no time, there is no creation. The source of all creation. Anil is uncorruptible, can't be corrupted, can't be made bad, can't be made dirty, can't be soiled in any way. Anad and Anahat. Anahat is when you cannot destroy, and Anad is beyond sound. Anad Anahat Jug Jug Eko Ves. Maharaj is talking to us about that Creator which is all around us, which is represented in the man, which is met. This creation is met in the man. The relationship is established in the man. So, if we don't have the spiritual experience of the man, then all that remains of religion is the structure, which is physical. And the meaning of these physical religious structures is spiritual. So they become actually self-defeating and meaningless. Nanak sache naam bin kya tikka kya tag. So Sahib says, that he who is all present everywhere, who is the source of all creation, is met in the man. And if we are not practicing our spirituality in the level of the mind, then what is the meaning of this religion? That is exactly what this body is saying. So he converts every symbol in the physical religion of the yogis to an experience of the man. And he says, unless this transformation has happened in my mind, these symbols are only physical. They don't have a meaning. And if I have followed these symbols, if I have followed the meaning of these symbols, if I have followed the practice in the man, then I've actually transcended religion and become one in the spiritual level. That's what he says in the last line, that all creation is one. And he says, I Panthi Sagal Jamati. I Panth is a tradition, a yogic tradition, one of the Panths, one of the larger sects of yogic tradition. He says, Sakal Jamati, the entire creation is my I Panth, is my spiritual family. Man jeete jag jeet. Without knowing the inner mind, it will be all a loss. But if we know it, then it is a victory. What is to know in the inner mind, Maharaj? This mind is a thoughtless mind. It doesn't have divisions in it. It doesn't have conflicts. It doesn't have any stresses in it. This is a mind which all of us have in our core. Now we know the mind to be changing mind, constantly changing. Our thoughts are constantly moving. Our desires are always changing. Our expressions are constantly changing. This is the changing mind. We only know this changing mind. But beyond this changing mind, there is a man which is unchanging, which is the foundation of all man. And that's the universal mind. It's one mind for everyone. When Bhagat Ravdas talks about spirituality, he expresses the same thing. He says that Jo hum shahri so meet hamara. Those who live in this Begumpura, they are my friends. The others are not. Those who found the spiritual experience with me are one with me. The rest are not. They are divided. They don't meet me. They meet me in the physical, in the expressions, emotional level, but not in the spiritual level. And all meeting which happens in the spiritual level is not separation. It never gets separated. It's one. But every meeting in the emotional and the physical level has a meeting and a separation to it. Sanjog Vijog. That's how the structure of the mind is. Question to be asked is, what Guru Sahib is telling us, is that what any of us are living? Is it what we do in our lives? Is it what we have learned from our religion? And in fact, in the Guru Granth Sahib is talking about the man constantly. The man and Naam. Naam being this unchanging mind. And he defines the Naam as the state where there is no ego. Home name naal virodh hai, doye na bas ek thaai. The ego has a conflict with the naam. They don't exist together. Either I will be in home, ego, the changing mind, the structured mind, or I will be in naam. Now, naam inspires life. Naam is the positive energy of life. It's the love, which is unconditional, not found in the ego mind. Naam is the experience of Anand, unconditional joy, which is not found in the changing mind. It's not found in the ego world, but it can inspire that world. So when we meet Guru Sahib, we meet him as a physical personality when he's living, inspired by Naam. In fact, dictated by Naam, governed by Naam. So in that way, meeting Guru Sahib is meeting our spiritual self, meeting our own spiritual experience. And that is how it is uplifting. It is energizing. Because these meetings have in them certain amount of change. A change happening in the spiritual level in the man. There are certain doors, certain channels in the mind which are blocked, and that they limit our spiritual experience. Guru Granth Sahib talks about it as the Dasam Dwar, the 10th door. There are 9 doors to the physical body, but there is a 10th door, he says, which is hidden. No dware pargat kiye, daswa gupt rakhaya. The 10th is hidden. And this is the door where the ego cannot go. So we cannot go into the inner mind without dropping our ego. And the ego cannot be dropped without a guru. That is how the experience of guru and Sikh becomes relevant in life. If we go through the talks of Jido Krishnamurti, again and again he says there is no need for guru. Now I don't know his personal experience of Anand, how it happened, what was the reason. But that can be true, that there is no need for a physical guru. But to open this door, there is a need for guru. And Maharaj has defined that guru as Shabad Guru. Shabad is what, Maharaj? Shabad is the foundation of all creation. So we can give Shabad form and formless. When he says that Shabad as a form is what Guru Granth Sahib is, defined Shabad, which Guru Sahib says, these are the Shabads which represent the spiritual mind. So he picks him up devoid of identity, whether it is Namdev in Maharashtra, Kabir in Varanasi, or it is Ravidas, or it is Tanajat, devoid of their physical identity, he is picking up the spiritual elevation in the Shabad. And there are people who approach Guru Arjan Sahib Maharaj and say, please put our writings in the Guru Granth, and Maharaj says no to them. Because he doesn't find the spiritual elevation. He doesn't find the egoless state of being. He doesn't find Naam in the Shabad. But if he finds them, then he's very eager to put them in the Guru Granth. So in the Guru Granth, there is also the Baani of the Pats, who were insects by nature, by physical nature, they were Pandits. Irrespective of whether he is a Pandit or a Shudar, whether he is in any zone of the world, or whether he is any language of specific language, it's irrelevant to that. Guru Sahib is picking up the spiritual elevation in the Shabad, and he is guided by that. So in this way, we are here to learn what is the inner experience of the man. That is the guide which we get here in this Shabad. In fact, in the entire Guru Granth Sahib, we get that guidance. How to open that door. Kiv sachiara hoiye, kiv kude tutte paal. Hukam radai chalna nanak likhya naal. Maharaj says, Munda Santokh Saram Patcholi. So the mundra is the santokh, the satiation, satisfaction, relaxation, stressless mind, thoughtless mind, not running, not very eager to get, but calm, santokh, satisfied. Sarampat Choli. Munda, he says, represents the santokh in my religion, in my mind. So if my mind is in santokh, it is calm, then it has the ability to become unified, be without conflicts. Sarampat Choli. And he says, the begging, the alms, the food which I ask for, you ask for in your choli, is the bartan. Pat is the bartan, is the utensil. He says, for me, it is hard work. On the spiritual level, I need to make an effort, sram. And we will go ahead in the khands soon, because we are now already at 28th body, and we have 38 bodies and 2 shloks in this Baani. So we are only 10 bodies away from the last slok. And the next 4 bodies are about the dialogue with the yogis. And then the khands will start. He defines the khands as the spiritual journey within the mind. And in that he talks about Sram Khand. That state of mind where I'm making an effort to meet my inner mind. So if I'm in relaxed mode, if I'm in unified mind, non-conflicted, not troubled, and then I make an effort, what effort do I make? I go into Dhyan, Maharaj. This is the chariot on which the charioteer will journey the Dhyan. He finds the Dhyan in a santokh, in effort, goes beyond the thought mind, beyond moving mind. Am I able to go to this mind? If I am not, then I need to make this effort. Because without Dhyan, spirituality will not reveal itself. What is Dhyan? When he sees Dhyan ki karho bibhut, you are covered your body with ash. Maharaj says that is the Dhyan. It covers my entire being in the Dhyan. The Dhyan defines my entire state of life. Constantly, I am in Dhyan. What is Dhyan? When we do anything, with an effort, with a worry, with a reason, with a cause, it has to have in it Dhyan. When I'm driving, writing an essay, writing a poem, doing a dance, it always needs Dhyan. So Dhyan is a channelized energy in the physical world. I can be seeing out in the wilderness and somebody walks by and I don't notice him or her, and the person will say, you didn't see me, I walked by you. And then what will I say? I will say, my dhyan was somewhere else, my attention was somewhere else. So I was seeing with these eyes, but I was not able to see you because my dhyan was somewhere else. So I see, hear, I touch, I go through my senses, all in dhyan. Whatever it may do, I need dhyan. Even for a lover, he or she needs dhyan. A lover will do dhyan of the loved. And that is what transcends and brings them into a calm mind. And that is how love becomes transforming. This is physical love, but yet it transforms us. Because it allows us to drop the moving mind. The love allows us to focus all our energy on the subject of love and the loved one. So we've transcended the moving mind. We've transcended our inner conflicts, our negativities, our pain, our sorrow. It's all gone. And in this way, love has transformed us. That is why love has inspired so much poetry. It has inspired so much of our lives. Because it is our solution. It is physical, but yet it is our solution. Guru Sahib then is explaining the dhyan to us. Now, if I go into the inner mind, the mind which is not divided, which is one, which is not focused, which is not divided into subjects. I'm doing dhyan in the physical level, so my attention has gone to the physical level. Suppose I take it away from the physical level. Suppose I say, let me go inward. Let me not do any dhyan of anything with my desire. I don't desire anything. I just become santokhi. I become relaxed. I become calm. Then what happens to the mind? It becomes one. It becomes without conflict. Now the nature of our inner mind, the nature of our spirit and soul is dhyan. The entire creation is made out of dhyan. There is a dhyan in something, and so it comes about. My inner mind, without conflicts, without desires, without expectation, without the structure of the ego, is complete dhyan. Undivided dhyan. And it has complete knowledge of all my past, present and future. It's the seed mind. So in this way, if we are in dhyan, sometimes we can know our past life. Not a big deal. We can know if somebody is coming to meet us. These are the part of our inner being. And this sixth sense exists within us, all of us. It's not as though it exists only with me or with you. But of course, the quality of the dhyan is important. I have known of cases where people have known their next life, where they will take birth. Because they are in so much dhyan, they are aware of it all. It doesn't materially change much because there's nothing they can do about it. They have to follow the hukum, but they become aware. In this way, dhyan is our natural state of mind. A focused, vibrant energy which is without conflict and which is one with the creation, with its source. Like the source of the river. So if I take away all my distractions, all my commitments, all my conditioned mind commitments, I just take them away, then I will go into dhyan. That's my natural state. Maharaj says, Moond liye darwaze. Bajiyale anhad baje. Mundliye, shut the doors of the outside world. And you will go into celebration of the inner mind. The dhyan takes you into celebration. Dhyan is necessary to meet the Guru. Now suppose I go and meet Guru Nanak in the physical form and I am not paying attention. I am thinking of something else. Then I am not meeting the Guru. But if I am not in the physical presence of the Guru and I am doing dhyan of the Guru, then I am meeting the Guru. Now the two things happened. In Guru Nanak's life, someone came and said, why don't you do namaz with me? You say all religions are the same. We are all one beyond our religions. Why don't you do namaz with me? He says, why not? And so this person says his namaz, but Guru Sahib watches and doesn't participate. And then end of the namaz, he asks Maharaj, see, this is what I was saying. You don't practice what you preach. Maharaj says, I was waiting for your namaz, but you were in Kabul buying horses. Your dhyan is not in your namaz, so it's no namaz. Your dhyan is not in the Shabad, so there is no meeting with the Shabad. That is how the Shabad and Surt experience becomes elevating if there is a Surt. The Surt Shabad means what? Surti. Absorbed in its own nature. But we are not aware of Surt, Maharaj. We are not aware of the calm mind, the unmoving mind, the thoughtless mind. We are not aware of it. Now the opposite happened in Guru Har Rai Sahib's time. Maharaj was sitting with the Sikhs and he goes into dhyan, closes his eyes and has gone deep into himself. And many hours pass by. And when he comes around, the Sikhs asks him what happened. He says, and interestingly, this also is related to Kabul. He says, a Sikh in Kabul was doing my dhyan. And I was so absorbed in his dhyan that I was doing his dhyan. So we were meeting. There is no physical presence, but there is dhyan of each other, spiritual meeting. Am I able to do this dhyan? Do I want to do this dhyan? Go into this nijkar, which is what Guru Sahib says. Fir ghar baise har jan pyare. We make so much effort in life. Even to cook a meal, we put in all our energy, our dhyan. To study, to build a career, to raise children, have family, all of it needs energy, needs dhyan. But we don't have the ability to go into our inner mind in the dhyan of Santokh. Isn't that a tragedy? The source mind is being used by us. We use this dhyan, which is our source mind, all the time. But we don't know its reality. We give it names, Kundalini, chakras, all this we do. But we never had that experience. We try and convince ourselves that we know by using these names, which is what the yogis are doing. They are saying we have Khintha, we have Choli, we have Mundra. But where is the inner experience of the mind? Guru Sahib is asking the yogis exactly this. You have the physical attributes. Where is the inner experience of the man? If that is not there, then what is the meaning of all this? What are we doing it for? Fooling ourselves. And we fool ourselves for lifetimes. In the Omkareshwar Bani of Dakhini Omkar, actually Omkar, Guru Sahib says this to us. You have many lives, many wives, many families, many children, many lives, many gurus, but always missing the boat. And you are also tired of all this. The journey has tired you. Wandering and not getting. Trying to seek and not knowing. Giving it names and telling people I know. There's a person in our community who's now teaching everybody Waheguru Simran. And he's talking about the Dasam Dwar. And he's talking about beyond death, and he says, after death we come here, and we doesn't know anything about that experience, and he's talking about it. And we are also absorbing it. Why do we need to talk about the Dasam Dwar, where it is, how it is, unless we know it? And if we know it, we don't need to talk about it. It's experiential. We can tell the people that you need to have your direction towards the Dasam Dwar. But putting it in words has no meaning. It's only words. It's not experience. It's like I'm thirsty. And I keep talking about the structure of water, H2O, hydrogen, oxygen. I describe water. How does it smell? This is not the same as drinking water. Just like that, we talk about the Dasam Dwar as though we know it, but we don't know it. The mind is a very beautiful thing. And that is where our life is lived. Our entire life is lived in our man. All our experiences, all that we understand about life, all that we have associated ourselves with, all our targets, goals, everything is about in the man. And we don't know the man. And we want to teach the world that we know it. That's tragic. And such is the level of our research, our seeking, that most of us follow the wrong people. I'm not saying I'm the right person, but I'm saying what Guru Sahib is saying, we fall short. We don't know about dhyan. Suppose I sit by myself and watch my mind, watch my thought, and I don't touch my thoughts. Most of us sometimes get disturbed by thoughts. That means that my ego is holding on to the thought. Suppose I don't hold on to the thought. A thought comes and I let it go. A thought has come. You are a failure in life. Let me say, for example. And I let it go. I don't hold on to it. A thought comes, you are a very big success in life. I don't hold on to it. I let it go. Like that, all these thoughts which are coming in my mind, I don't hold on to them. And in some time, I will go into dhyan. In Zen Buddhism, they call it Zazen. Just sitting. Just sitting and letting go. In the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, this is the first meditation they teach. Watching your breath and not focusing on your thoughts. Very useful. The experience of Shabad becomes relevant if we have dhyan. That is why we do so much part every day, and yet we don't transcend the changing mind. Because we don't have dhyan. Now there are ways of getting this dhyan. One of the ways or tricks is to be in sangat or companionship of someone who is in dhyan. O bhi chandan hoi rahe, base jo chandan paas. Whichever tree is next to the sandalwood tree becomes sandalwood. It may not be a sandalwood tree, but the smell, it gets absorbed. Its nature is changed. If someone is in dhyan and I am in service of this person. So I am in dhyan of this person. Ultimately, I will become dhyan. Why? Even if I am doing the menial things of life. Pakha, pheri, pani, toma, piso, santage. I am only doing pakha. I am getting water. Serving this individual who is in dhyan. Dhyan. The lion. Not in janam, not in birth, not in death. These people don't take birth or die. They come visiting the physical world, the gurus. Janam maran doho mein nahi. Jan paropkari aaye. They have come for the others' benefit. Ji daan de bhakti lion. They give the gift of spiritual life. Physical life we all have, not spiritual. Harsyon land milai, and they make us meet the Creator, the God. By how? By meeting our mind. They are already in dhyan of the Creator. They are aware of the Creator. And by meeting our mind, they make us meet the Creator. Harsyon land milai. The other way is Shabad. The third way is Seva. I do Seva. I don't claim the benefits of the Seva. Sev karat hove neh kami. I do small menial tasks. I wash utensils. I clean the floor. But I don't claim. In doing these small things, my dhyan comes because I don't focus on my thoughts then. I focus away from my thoughts, so I become thoughtless. Now, when I am in thoughtless mind, I am in dhyan. So the seva, when it is nehkami, which is without desire, sev karat hove nehkami, tisko hot prapat swami. Then that person becomes aware of the dhyan mind. In Gurdjieff's case, this happened, that a PhD, a learned lady went to him. And she was very troubled by her thoughts. And he made her sit on the road and break stones. For 3 days or 4 days, just breaking stone. All day she was only breaking stone. And on the 4th day she said, my mind is very calm. Because we are always focusing on our thoughts. Our mind is not calm. It's not at rest. It's not in santokh. So it's not in dhyan. But if I do even small things, so we are troubled about the whole world, about Ukraine, we are troubled about Trump, we are troubled about everything which is happening. Far away from us, we trouble with that. But we don't disconnect. We don't disconnect from the troubles and go inward. So we are always troubled. All the society which around us is a troubled mind. And in that way it affects us. There is a very high degree of madness present in society. We don't see it because we don't spend much time in depth with people. But there's a lot of madness. Irrelevant things are being done. The seeking is it's become so fruitless, so devoid of results, that there is a hopelessness in the seeking. Whereas the seeking needs to go inward, make it simpler. So, we can sit by ourselves and watch our thoughts and don't participate in them, and the thoughts will go away. But it's not easy, because we are so used to committing our ego to our thought. This is my thought. Suppose this is what they call sanskar, that which keeps coming repetitively, very fast to us. So we have short-circuited everything. And one of the pitfalls which we fall on is, mostly we will fall on sex, we will fall hatred. These are the stimulants which are very aggressive in our mind. Hatred, looking at someone else and making them feel smaller in our mind only, even if we don't tell them. All this pleases us, because it gives us our ego kick. So Maharaj says, Dhyan ki karhe vibhut. If you don't have dhyan and putting this vibhuti on your body, it's meaningless. Khintha kal. I am aware that there is death with me all the time. Closer than we think. So this khintha which you carry constantly with you, I have a memory that I am facing death all the time. Life and death move together with me. Kuwari kaya. When the body is corrupted with substance, then it can't do dhyan. I remember a very interesting story. We went, when I was living with Sant Ranjan Singh in Patiala, I have said this earlier, we went to meet a saint. And going near that person and listening to him made me go into dhyan, just listening. There was so much energy in what he was saying. I was very, very pleased. On the way back, I shared the experience and I told Sant Ranjan Singh Ji that this was an amazing experience. He said, yes. But did you notice that he has a substance? His stimulant is substance. He was eating something which he was in dhyan, but the stimulant was physical. So he says, this is not a complete human being. He's not solved it all. The stimulant should be Shabad. The stimulant also has to be spiritual. It can't be physical. It can be small stimulants which are physical, which are not impacting the mind. It can be triggers, like you have pleasant smelling environment. These are all physical stimulants. You don't want to have bad smelling where you're going to sit and meditate. So have a nice place to sit where you can relax your mind. These are physical stimulants, but they are the minimum that you need. You do not use a substance which alters the mind. Because the mind alteration is meditation. That's the ultimate alteration of the mind. So Maharaj says, that Khintha Kal Kuwari Kaya, a physical body which is Sada Rahe Kanchan Si Kaya, Kal Na Kabhu Vyape, Jugat Danda Partit. And this danda which the yogis hold, Maharaj says the jugati of the man. What is the method? So these are two things, Jyot and Jugat. The goal is the Jyot, Nirankar, creator. Jugat is Khalsa, method. Shabad. Shabad is the Jugat. When I do dhyan of the Shabad, then it transcends the moving mind. And transcending the moving mind is complete bliss. Chalte ho man rakhe, amrit chakhe. Go beyond the moving mind and you will find amrit in the non-moving mind. That is where life's victory and life's failure lies, in the mind. Jugat Randa Prateet, Ai Panthi Sagal Jamati. My entire family is this whole world, Maharaj says. Sagal Jamati. No barriers. No identities are judgmental to me, whom I will say, these are not good for me, I will not talk to them. Guru Sahib talks to thieves, to murderers, and he transforms them forever. Not because he hates them and judges them, punishes them. He in fact transforms them forever. We have examples of Sajjan Thug. We have other examples also, where Guru Sahib has transformed the person. Sajjan Thug used to murder the people who would stay with him. And after Guru Sahib met him, he got transformed. They flipped a coin, showed him the inner mind. Ai Panthi Sagal Jamati, Man Jeete Jag Jeet. Only when we win our mind, we win the world. Otherwise, we lose. Even if we have hundreds of crores as ownership and wealth, it's meaningless. Man jeete jag jeet. Do I spend time with our mind? Do I watch my mind and get devoid of thoughts? That's the trick. Thir ghar baiso har jan pyare. The thir ghar is a thoughtless mind. Satgur tumre kaaj saware. All your issues get resolved in the thir ghar. But we don't put energy into this inner mind. We don't put energy in finding santokh. We miss the boat. Ades, they say Ades. Maharaj says salutations to that one creator. Ad Anil, beyond time, uncorruptible. Anad, that which is forever. Anahat, which cannot be killed, cannot be destroyed. It is pure and it has no beginning. Anad. No beginning, no end. Jug Jug Eko ways. The Creator is the same, in one form, always. And we can meet in our inner mind when we meet our one mind, our Anand mind. And the doors of changing mind open into the unchanging mind. So the understanding the structure of the mind is our spirituality, knowing the structure of the mind, not physically only understanding in words. Conscious, unconscious, subconscious, that we know these words. Unconscious. But what about the experiential mind? ऐ मन शक्ति, ऐ मन शिव, ऐ मन पंच तत्व का जीव. The moving mind is from the source. It's the Maya, the ऐ मन शिव, but it comes from the creator, the Shiv, the God himself. ऐ मन पंच तत्व का जीव. And the man comes about by meeting the physical five indris, the five senses. It becomes the ego mind. It's come about by coming in the physical form. Maharaj says, live chutki lagi trishna, maya amar vartaya. So, when my live gets broken from my creator, then trishna comes about, desire comes about, because that is my ego mind. I come into the ego mind. Maya amar vartaya. And the Maya mind, the ego mind, I come and rest there in birth. So my entire physical body foundation is the ego mind, conditioned mind. But the conditioned mind is an opportunity to go beyond the conditioned mind. Pahi prapat manuk de huriya, gobind milan ki hai teri bariya. Avar kaaj tere kite na kaam, mil saad sangat paj keval naam. Pahi prapat manuk de huriya. You've got this opportunity, Gobind Milan ki, to meet the Creator. Hai teri bariya, your chance. And nothing else will be of utility to us in the spirit world. None of these physical activities we do. If we don't go into our inner mind, don't open the doors to our inner mind, we will not be able to know what is our experiential mind. That's where we need to put our energy. Aad Anil, Anad Anahat, Jug Jug Eko Bes. Ades Tise Ades. Guru Sahib has told the yogis about spirituality, about the inner mind, about solving the mind as the key to spiritual existence. 28th body, Maharaj. We end the talk, today's talk at this, with a prayer that we are also able to go into an inner mind, to find the unmoving mind, the unchanging mind within us. Adanil Anadana, Jug Jug Eko Ves. If you have any questions, raise your hand. If you're in YouTube, you can write out your question there. Or if you want to say something, please do so. And then we will culminate the session with Anand Sahib, the Bani of Guru Amar Das. Unconditioned love, Amrit and joy is Anand. Thank you. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa. Waheguru Ji ki Fateh. Ji. If there are no questions, then we can do Anand Sahib.
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह.
Waheguru
Should
Ji.
I start the Anand sir?
Hanji,
Sorry.
Hanji, Hanji.
जी. राम कली महला तीजा आनंद एक ओंकार सतगुर प्रसाद आनंद भया मेरी माए सतगुरु मैं पाया सतगुरता पाया सहज सेती मन वजियां वाधाइयां राग रतन परवार परियां शब्द गावन आईयां सब दो गावो हरि केरा मन जिन्नी वसाया कह नानक आनंद होआ सतगुरु मैं पाया ए मन मेरेया तू सदा रहो हर नाल रहो तू मन मेरे दुख सब विसारना अंगीकारो करे तेरा कारज सब सवारना सबना गल्ला समरथ स्वामी तो क्यों मन हो विसारे कह नानक मन मेरे सदा रहो हर नाले साचे साहिबा क्या नाही करते रह करता तेरा सब किछ है जिस देह सो पावे सदा सिफत सलाह तेरी नाम मन वसावे नाम जिनके मन वसया वाजे शब्द कनेरे कह नानक सच्चे साहिब क्या नाही करते रह साचा नाम मेरा आधारो साच नाम आधार मेरा जिन भुखा सब गवाइयां कर शांत सुख मन आए वसया जिन इच्छा सब पुजाइयां सदा कुर्बान कीता गुर विटो जिस दियां ए वधियाइयां कह नानक सुनो संतो शब्द धरो प्यारो साचा नाम मेरा आधारो वाजे पंच शब्द तित घर सपागै शब्द वाजे कला जित कर तारिया पंच दूत तुद वस कीते काल कंटक मारया तुर कर्म पाया तुद जिनको से नाम हर के लागे कह नानक तह सुख होआ तित कर अनहद वाजे अनद सुनो वड भागी हो सगल मनोरथ पूरे पार ब्रह्म प्रभ पाया उतरे सगल विसूरे दुख रोग संताप उतरे सुनी सच्ची बाणी संत साजन भये सरसे पूरे गुर ते जानी सुनते पुनीत कहते पवित सतगुर रहया पर पूरे बिनवंत नानक गुर चरण लागे वाजे अनहद तूरे सलोक पवन गुरु पाणी पिता माता तरत महत दिवस रात दोए दाई दाया खेले सगल जगत चंगियाइयां बुरियाइयां वाचे धर्म हदूर धर्मी आपो आपनी के नेड़े के दूर जिन्नी नाम ते आया गए मशक्कत काल नानक ते मुख उजले केती छुट्टी नाल जिन्नी नाम ते आया गए मुशक्कत काल नानक ते मुख उजले केती छुट्टी नाल वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। धन्यवाद महाराज, थैंक यू।